Ace and Lotus stood in front of the number 9 door. Santa was curled into a ball against the wall of the incinerator, holding his stomach. And then there was June. She sat slumped against the wall, exhausted. What had happened? Junpei ran toward June. He skidded to a stop in front of her and knelt down. What's wrong? Are you okay? Her face was pale and her lips dry. When she spoke, he could barely hear her. Junpei, you came to get me. Of course I did. I made a promise. I'm so glad you're here. So glad. She mumbled the same words over and over, weakly. Junpei could feel his heart breaking. Hey, what happened to you? I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good. I'm feeling a lot better now, though. Are you sure? Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry about me. She was looking toward Santa. Junpei turned to look as well. Santa grimaced, his face contorted in pain. Seven grabbed him by the collar and roared at him. Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere? Despite himself, a grunt of pain escaped Santa's lips as Seven shook him. I don't have it. I got sucker punched and they took the gun. What? Who took the gun? What? Isn't that obvious? I took the gun. Oh my god. Ace. Or should I say Gintaro. He did indeed have the revolver in his hand. It was pressed against Lotus's temple. Ace had her pinned to him with the other arm, and she was shaking visibly. Her fiery attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She didn't dare speak. There was sweat on her forehead, and when her eyes weren't flicking up to the gun pressed against her, they seemed to desperately want to say something. So what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gintaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. Seven's deep, baritone rumble shook the walls. Ace sneered. You have me at a disadvantage, and I don't like that. You know me, but I don't know you. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? Can you even begin to understand my pain? The pain of prosopagnosia, right? Junpei's voice was casual, or at least it was trying to be. Another irritating insect. How do you know that, huh? Junpei couldn't say. He just knew. Another unexplainable mystery. No matter. If you didn't want to answer, it makes no difference to me. This is a waste of time anyway. It's time for me to go. Behind Ace, Junpei could hear the red. It was placed on the small, see the red, I say here, small indentation on the wall. Quickly, Ace placed his hand on the scanner. It beeped, and he forced Lotus's hand onto it as well. Then at last, he reached into the pocket of his jacket. He pulled something out and pressed it against the panel. The third asterisk appeared on the red. The thing he had used for the final verification was the bracelet with the number 9. It had belonged to the first man to die, Kubota. But he wasn't number 9. I believe I've won this game. His smirk made Junpei's blood boil. I've had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose. Wait, something about the way he'd spoken. Did Ace not know who Zero was? Junpei's eyes flicked toward Santa. He hadn't moved since they'd entered the room. Santa was still holding his stomach and groaning as if in immense pain. Junpei wasn't sure if it was real pain, but he wasn't sure it wasn't either. What the hell did Santa have up his sleeve this time? At any rate, this game ends now. I will escape, and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending. I suggest you enjoy your final moments. Goodbye. Wait! Ace, of course, paid no heed to Seven's request. and laid hold of the lever on the red. With a sickening sense of finality, he pulled it. What? What? Why isn't it opening? Lotus tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion and managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but at the last second he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it onto the red. He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red, and then his own bracelet as well. He pulled the lever a second time. No. What is this? Why? Digital root should be 9. It has to be 9. Then why? Why isn't it opening? Hehehehe. Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. It was just below the red. 7 chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. Oh man, I wanted to see that. It was over before they knew it. In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto his side, groaning in pain. Lotus ran straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out. Why are you hiding behind me? Why are you hiding behind Junpei? I was close. Too close. Thank you, 7. Don't mention it. 7 stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy. Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I ought to rip him to pieces. But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat. 9 years ago. Huh, and you must be. Yeah, you finally figured it out. Dumbass. Ace planted his hands on the floor and shook his head. Junpei walked toward him. He stopped and looked down at Ace with pity on his face. Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Masushito, didn't you? Wait, Nijisaki? He peered at Junpei, genuinely confused. Oh right, you don't know yet. Alright, we'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives. 1. In the Nonary game, the number 9 was dangerous. Whoever had the number 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. You could add 9 to any number and the digital root wouldn't change. In other words, number 9 could do whatever they wanted. Ace had wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. Ace also wanted to have the number 9 bracelet himself, so that he could make use of its power. In fact, he later made use of it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number had been different, Kubota presented a problem for Ace. Kubota had known Ace's past. He knew what happened 9 years before. Before he told anyone, Ace had to silence him. 4. But last, and perhaps most disturbing, Ace had used Kubota as a test. He wanted to know how serious this Nonary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank? He convinced Kubota to break the rules so that he might see what happened. That was why you killed Kubota, but he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing part of the red, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital room. However, because your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki. Chiefly because when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake. No, that's not. That was Nijisaki. Why? How did... I'll get to that. Anyway, you thought he was Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid, but his presence made you think. Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me, but if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my best is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kabuto's bracelet. You just waved it over the red. Verified your own number, then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. Then when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was dead. Then you mean to say Snake is still alive? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm as good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man, but I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much. Well, I wouldn't blame you. Ace's self-derision was frustrating, but Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued. Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said? Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it? I handed you the pocket watch and you left the room. Ace had been in charge of the Nonary project. He would, of course, have known the solution to every puzzle. It followed then that he knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All he had to do was place a pocket watch on the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, he was able to enter the captain's quarters. Cap was in there. Next to him was an axe that fairly begged Ace to kill Cap with it. He picked up the axe and swung it, burying the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took. Afterwards, Ace returned to the chart room as though nothing had happened. There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Would you please come with me for a moment? With no reason not to, Junpei had followed Ace to the wheelhouse. When they reached the wheelhouse, Ace slipped his hand into Junpei's vest. He pulled out a piece of paper Junpei had used to cheat during the vote. But it wasn't the piece of paper that Ace was after. His true purpose had been to slip the pocket watch into Junpei's pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. It had far too many flaws, and the wrong word of discovery could easily have toppled it. But it had made Ace so desperate. That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out. Cap's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it, but why? Because of this. Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper. Junpei took it and opened it. This was what it said. Number 1. There are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the Nonary game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I've prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you've confessed everything, I'll release you from the ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. Zero. When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get into the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of the hand was the best I could manage in short notice. You meant to kill him from the beginning, then. Cap, I mean. I only knew Cap was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, then he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you were correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness. Asa confessed everything. What energy he had left him with the truth, and he sagged on his knees. Although he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion for the pathetic man on the floor near his feet, but among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace had not been the only person who murdered those three men. Junpei spoke quietly. Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated. Yes. So it would seem. I was little more than a puppet, in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like a snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Cap was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap. I'm quite ashamed of myself. But yes, I think this was a trap. It was Zero's trap, and I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do. Yeah. By manipulating Ace, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary game happened. Am I right, Santa? Junpei looked over at Santa. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaky. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any. Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I could call you Kurashiki then. Seven's face was sad as he spoke. My memory came back, kid. You're Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the Nonary game this time around was Zero. And Zero's you. Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh? Santa's smile was sarcastic and something else. Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then. Yeah, you got me. I'm Kurashiki. I was one of the kids in the Nonary game 9 years ago. I made it out, so did Snake over there. There's one thing. No, I guess there's 2 things you got wrong. Number 1, I ain't Zero. What? Wait, what? Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant. Like a secretary. But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders. Then, if you're not Zero, who is? Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say 2 things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing the Nonary game. Yeah? To save someone. Save someone? Right. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane. What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw. Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went as wide as dinner plates, and he spun around toward June. Junpei followed his gaze. She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing. What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki? Seven began to mumble to himself, a strange series of words strung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort, as though he were struggling with something they couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head. My head. My head. It feels like it's gonna pop. He groaned and fell to his knees. 7. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode. From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel slowly beginning to turn. Santa seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured. What was the Nonary Project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. Yep, something we already know. What was that phenomenon? For two organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of a physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There were two separate locations. One was a gigantic and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. Building Q had been built to replicate exactly the interior of the gigantic. The 9 children who trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set, and transmit them through their brothers and sisters on the gigantic. The transmitters were put into Building Q and the receivers were put on the gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up. But there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q. However, for some reason she was placed on the gigantic with the receivers, like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei. Where's what going? Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't, things you couldn't. How did you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nijisaki was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hako? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it? Well, that's... The answer to that is easy. He knew because I knew. Because I knew. Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures, then? Imagine a river that splits in two like an upside-down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream into 2 branches. It only flows in one direction. It can never flow backward. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future, but never flows backward. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another either. Information only flows along the path of the river. But I am different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am I, the 9th letter of the alphabet, but I am also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you could say I am less than 0. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Oh my god. I'm having a brain aneurysm, oh god. In the good way. It's all leading up. Oh man. Oh man. Where'd you go? June? No. Akane. Where did you go? Santa. Why's Clover? Freeze. Oh man, what? Santa's got the gun. Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. Looks like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. Wonder how he likes having a gun to his head. Get up. Sure isn't about to take that gun off him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting up any kind of fight. I mean, I don't think I would either. But he just looks drained. I guess he's going for the door, huh? He doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but... What's your plan, Santa? What are you doing? He can't get through any numbered doors with just 2 people. What the hell is he thinking? Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true. That's it? That's all he's gonna give us? The hell does that even mean? They're out. Well. And now the gate's shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. Well, 7's headache is gone. He seems to be alright. Well, I guess there's no harm in trying. Let's see if this door still opens. Damn. Well, at least it looks like this door isn't opening anytime soon. You mean we're trapped? So it would seem. What the hell is Santa trying to do? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what? Have you considered where we are? There can really only be one thing Santa would do now. No. No, you can't be serious. Oh, but he is. I gotta do something. Maybe we can still get out through door 9. There's the red. Yeah, alright, we can do this. I just gotta... No, it's not gonna work. There's no way. 5 of us can't open this door. Is there any combination that'll work? Junpei, can I borrow your pen and notebook? Sure, why not? I don't think I'm gonna need them. Never again. Well, she certainly looks purposeful. Looks like she's writing equations. A lot of them. Yeah? A man. She doesn't look very man. She doesn't look very happy. What? Hey! How to be ripping pages out like that? Jeez. The hell are you doing, Clover? Give me that. Alright, at least 7 got it away from her. Maybe now we can get a look at what she was writing. Let's see. Two, 4, 5, and 7. There's no other way. Lotus. Looks like she'd figured it out, though. Man, this is just too cruel. It's okay. Go. Lotus. Come on, you know we can't do that. Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me. You idiot. Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Looks like she expected that about as much as I did. Without, if you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright. For a cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence. Bad. Yeah. If there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job. Huh? Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story. 7. He's right. I'm not leaving you either. Me too. You don't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you? You're all idiots. Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can all see you're about to cry. That being said, however, I doubt we would be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus behind. Huh? Why? I trust you remember what happened, Ace. I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier at the red. Oh, yeah. No. What is this? Why? The digital route should be 9. It has to be 9. Then why? Why isn't it opening? Just to see, why don't we give it a shot? Give it a shot. Yes, that is what I said. You were right. It ain't opening. But it did open 9 years ago. The digital route was 9 then, I'm sure of it. You think maybe they changed the settings? Perhaps. If we can't get through the door, we can't get out. The walls are way too high, and there's no way now we can get out to that hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on it. I guess this is it. This is the end.